This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Sophie Brooks about. Oh, hi. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Abe. How are you?
Good. I had the chance to see this at its premiere at Sundance, which was a really fun audience to be with, but I'm not sure I would have thought of it as a typical Sundance movie.
Interesting. Okay, why is that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm curious if it how it played at Tribeca because I think it definitely does have a certain appeal to it, but it doesn't necessarily have. I feel like I associate a lot of stuff from Sundance with a certain dramatic gravitas, and I feel like this film is really great, but it's something so different from that. What was the experience of being at that festival like for you?
Yeah, well, that's interesting that you say that. I definitely understand that. It was so special. It was so special to be at Sundance, and I think there's definitely a lot of serious things and dramas that play. So it felt really fun to have the screening and have a lot of laughter in the room. The room really felt like it lit up, which was very special and exciting. And yeah, you kind of once you get that first laugh, you're like, okay, I think everyone's on board with the tone. And then we're playing Tribeca tomorrow, so I guess I'm curious to see how a New York audience feels about it. But honestly, yeah, Sundance was a dream, and we had one screening. They do one screening for every film that's in Salt Lake, and it's kind of people who are not, there for the festival necessarily. And that was actually one of the most special screenings we've ever had because I think I was nervous for a regular audience to see it, people who weren't there for the festival, and it played so well. And I was backstage with one of my producers and the DP, and just hearing the laughter was really special.
I will say that I have seen some great comedies at Sundance and also seen Molly and Logan in other films at Sundance. If there's a nice thing about being back there. But I did see your film, The Boy Downstairs, at Tribeca, which I feel like is another, different kind of thing. I am curious of what you think in terms of what are the similarities between The Boy Downstairs for you and Oh Hi.
Well, that's so fun that you saw it at Tribeca. How lovely. Gosh, well, I think they're both I would say The Boy Downstairs is more of a classic rom-com, of New York City rom-com, of a certain mumblecore vibe. And Ojai is much more absurd and kooky and out there. But they're both really relationship stories. And I brought a lot of myself to both of them. They're both very personal stories in different ways. And I think, I wrote Ojai when I was 30, and I wrote The Boy Downstairs when I was 25. So that's 5 years. And I made Ojai last year. So, when I was 35. So I'd had a lot of life experience to kind of infuse into the film. But I would say the similarities are sense of humor and romance, but kind of different ends of the spectrum.
I remember one of the things I liked most about the film is that it really does feel like these people are in love and they've been in a relationship for so long. And that's part of, sort of the undoing of that. You can say, maybe what Iris has done wrong, but like Isaac also presented something that is totally not in line, aside from his stupidity of deciding to say what he thought at exactly the wrong moment. He
Mm-hmm.
also was putting up this front that is, in a lot of ways, worse than what Iris does, I think.
I would agree. Yeah, I think they both, she certainly does some things that are deeply questionable and I would not encourage anyone to do. But I also think, Isaac's arc is him kind of realizing he needs to do a little work on himself too, and the way that he positioned their dynamic was probably not totally honest with himself or with Iris.
I also enjoyed Logan's response when someone asked him, like, what was it like to make this film? Whenever he's like, oh, it was great, so much fun, so much more relaxing than all the other things that I make, which is, I think, not what people in the audience might have expected, given, his predicament for most of the film.
Yeah, we had so much fun. I mean, he's so game, and he was truly chained to the bed for so many hours every day that I think he just kind of went into a zen space. And we did a lot of improv, and we rehearsed scenes, and it was just a really fun environment to, I hope, for them to feel free to explore and have serious moments that we want to hit, and always kind of lean into the authenticity of the characters, but also have fun and take some swings.
what kind of safeguards did you have to have in place, like intimacy coordination, etc., for this?
Yeah, we had an sorry, we had an intimacy coordinator for our sex scenes and even some scenes where he was just chained to the bed. And then outside of that, I just feel like I try to have really open communication with my actors. And if there's anything that they're really bumping on, I want to talk it through and find a path that makes sense for both of us. And I also love their ideas. They're really talented actors. So if they are like, I think we should try this thing, I'm like, great, let's give it a shot.
You described it as absurd, and I think it is in a lot of ways, but are there more extreme portions of the film that didn't make it into the final cut that was like, that's too much, so you just like, we can't do this? And
Oh,
can you share any
totally.
of them?
Oh gosh. I mean, we did a lot of different levels of tone for certain scenes. So, um, I think because the tone is so specific, I wanted to have options in the edit where some are much more grounded and some are much bigger. And any fun specific ones that oh yeah, a few. I can't share them because they're too great. They're really too kooky. Just some really fun improvs. I mean, they all are so funny. Geraldine and John are so funny. So having them come up with absurd fun things. I mean, one of the things that's in the film is there's a moment when John goes, "We're not going to kill the little guy," and then he claps his hand, and that was an improv from John that we all thought was so funny and made it in the movie. So there are tons of moments like that that made it, and then a few where we were like, "Oh, this is too much. We can't put that in." There was a whole thing in the sex scene when Molly improvised that she was like on a on a trampoline, which was really funny, but we ended up not putting that in.
Which of these four roles was most difficult to cast?
Isaac for sure. Logan's role. Yeah, it was really hard to find an actor who was, you know, down to be chained to a bed for half the movie and also had that balance of I don't even know what to call it, like bad boy and good boy, which is what the kind of the soft boy is. And Logan is so gorgeous and handsome, and you kind of could easily expect him to be one type of way. And he's actually so sincere and kind. And I think that lends itself to the character. I think if he was too much of one thing, perhaps it would read on camera. I mean, he's such a good actor, so he could pull anything off. But I think the fact that he is this really, a self-described Iris and a sweet, sweet boy, made him feel freer, I think, in playing the role because he's not, doing that to a woman.
And Molly Gordon is so fantastic in this role. I feel like it's perfect for her. I had seen Peter Camp, at Sundance a few years ago and seen her in a bunch of other things. They're saying that's just like so terrific, especially the way that, she tries to consider like, am I crazy? But then it's like, don't call me crazy. And I really, really enjoyed that. What was it like just working with her so much on this?
Yeah, well, we developed the film together, so we came up with the story together, and then I wrote it on my own. But she's really been attached since the very beginning. I wrote the role for her, and we developed the story and character for her. So it was such a joy to be able to write, knowing her talents and knowing the way she speaks and write in her voice. And the character is a fusion of the two of us in a lot of ways, and and I think sometimes you feel that in relationships. I think I'm someone who tries to be quite self-aware, and there are plenty of times I'll be like, am I being crazy or am I being normal? And I think she's so incredible at playing that kind of mix of emotions where you're not quite sure if you're the good guy or the bad guy sometimes in a story. And she's so charming and light on screen that it just feels, even when she's being a bit mad, you kind of love her for it. I love her for it. It's a very yeah, it's a fun thing to watch.
Well, as we said, Sundance office audiences are sort of specific, but have you seen anything written from people about, that maybe a different read of the film that you might expect, where they're like firmly on Isaac's side, Iris is the villain, anything like that?
Um, I certainly think it's created some interesting conversations just among like friends of friends that I've heard of guys questioning. their behavior, or girls being like, I'm in this exact situation, or by the way, a girl can be a soft boy, and a guy can be the one who feels like he's being led on. It's certainly not black or white. um I think it will hopefully lead to some interesting questions about how we behave in relationships. And I've certainly heard like threads of that, which is exciting.
Was this always the title that you wanted for this film? And have you found it hard to like? I think I knew Molly Logan, you involved. I was like, okay, I'll see it, but the title is not. I don't think the real draw for this film.
Yeah, the title originally it was set in Ojai, California, so it was kind of a play on Ojai, California, and then we ended up shooting in upstate New York, and there is a real place in upstate New York called High Falls, so we decided to kind of play into the miscommunication over where they are and the title. I think ultimately the title is when you're entering a new relationship, there is an element of every time introducing yourself because you're showing a new part of yourself. And I think for me, the title is a little bit, with the exclamation point, a little bit tongue in cheek of like, oh, hi, this is who I am. Oh, hi, this is who I am on repeat. And that's somehow sometimes how you feel at the beginning of a relationship. Like, are they still going to like me? Are they still going to like me? This is who I am.
I like that a lot. Do you have plans once this is out for another film? I know it's been a while since Boy Downstairs.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like I thought after The Boy Downstairs it would be easier to get my second film made than it was, and it took a really long time. So I certainly have a few other things that I'm kicking around, and one in particular that I'm excited about, and I hope I get to make it soon. But I'm just really grateful that I got to make this one, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited for people to see it. So, yes, I hope certainly soon, but it's a funny business, so you never know.
Well, on the note of The Boy Downstairs, have you had the chance to see a film called Fantasy Life yet?
I have Matt Shia, who was in The Boy Downstairs, one of my close friends, and actually how I met my DP was he shot Fantasy Life, and I saw Fantasy Life, and I thought I love this movie so much, and I think it looks beautiful. So I'm so excited for people to see Fantasy Life. I think it's such a special movie. I saw it at South by. I'd seen an early screening, and then I saw it at South by when it premiered, and I think he's so talented and such a good writer and director and actor. So I'm really excited for people to see it.
Also nice to see Zaja in a small role, harking back to the original film. So
Yeah.
that's
Have you
great.
did you see it? Did you see
Yeah,
Fantasy
I
Life?
was at South by also and saw it there. And it was also nice with Amanda Peet, with your friends and neighbors right now, just like a completely different role, but just such an equally great showcase for her.
Yeah, she's so good in the film. I really think it's so special.
Well, is there anything else that you've seen lately, film or TV, that's really sticking with you that you really like at the moment?
Hmm. I'm very excited about Couples Therapy season 3. Reality television, but I think it's really good. Um, hmm. I really want to see Materialist that comes out this tomorrow, I guess. I'm gonna try and see it on Sunday. I'm so excited about like a rom-com being back. So I really want to see that. And I loved Past Lives. I saw that 3 times in theaters. So yeah, I'm really excited to see Materialist.
Well, those are great choices. And I look forward to hopefully talking to you sometime soon about whatever's next. But for now, good luck at Tribeca, and I hope people really respond to this film.
Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.